I'm Jeff Altman, the Big Game Hunter, the head coach for JobSearchCoachingHQ.com. That's a site with curated information that you can watch, listen to, or read that will help you find work more quickly. Now, I thought I would do a video today about stress-free negotiating. Now, I've done a lot of videos about negotiating. Probably the most popular one is the easiest way to negotiate a higher salary for yourself. It's on YouTube. It's a very good video, and it's designed for a situation where you're prepared for the phone call and you're ready to respond with this negotiating tactic. This video is designed for, I've received the offer, and your instinctive response was, I want to think about it. It's not quite perfect. So now you've signaled that you want to negotiate with them. And here's a couple of things I want you to do in order to make this stress-free. Now, the first thing I want you to understand is, can you afford to walk away? Are you prepared to walk away? I was doing a negotiation or helping someone negotiate last week who received an offer from an organization. And as he was laying out his case, both in email and in our Zoom call, as he finished his conversation, I asked him, can you afford to walk away from this? And his answer was no. So right off the bat, I know the negotiation is going to be somewhat limited. Now, for you negotiating, as it is with this person, once you decide that you can't walk away, what you're trying to do is finesse, persuade, get confirmation, give them something, do some stuff in your conversation that allows them to keep moving forward and keeps you moving forward to the point where when you realize that there's no give anymore, you can either say yes or no. That is the perfect scenario to be in. Once you've decided that you cannot walk away, everything is a bonus that you're able to get from them. Now, one thing you can do, and this is one of those dances where if they're not threatening you yet that they have other people, you can give them the impression that you can walk away and that you have other things going on. Now, once they flip that and say, hey, look, we've got other people. And if you're not interested, that's fine with us. We've got someone else that we can go with. Now, it's one of those tactics that I never fully believe, but you got to play along because what they're signaling is they're coming up on the end of their patience with you. So let me deal with the first scenario where you can give them the impression that you can walk away. Hey, look, I've got a couple of other things going on, and some other organizations that are making or have made offers to me. That's your signal. If you can't walk away, you can say, I'm looking, I'm really excited about this opportunity, but there are a couple of rough edges, and we were talking about a start date of such and such. I can make that date, and notice what you're doing is signaling that you can join because you don't want them thinking about their plan B. You want to draw them into you. So that becomes the first sticking point. Whether you want to create the impression that you can walk away, or you want to create the impression that you're almost ready to join, but there are a couple of sticking points. And thus, what you're looking to do is to get things into the offer letter, not just simply an oral statement from them, but get things into the offer letter that makes sense for you. For example, in this person's case, there was a tuition reimbursement he was trying to negotiate that was a little bit different than what they normally do. And the hiring manager was saying, sure, no problem. And then we'll get into the letter, and it wasn't in the offer letter. And his reaction was anxious because he felt like maybe they were trying to cheat him in some way. And I just very simply said to him, why don't you very calmly say to him, look, I'm very interested in joining. we had spoken about this one item. Somewhere between our conversation and the offer letter, it didn't wind up in the letter. And that is my protection here. And if they say, hey, look, don't trust me here, the response is, and if you get hit by a bus tomorrow, or you go to another organization, what happens to me? I've got no cover here. So everything is about being very calm, because in the back of your mind, you know what you're prepared to walk away from. You know that unless you get certain conditions, you're not going to say yes. Another thing, and this is a very subtle thing, is the notion of personal connection between you and the person that you're negotiating with. So, for example, in this particular negotiation, the person involved, started to say, I think what happened is I got distracted because my son is getting married, or I think it was his son was getting married, and I forgot to relay that. So it was an easy situation, and he owned up to something, and he did it at a personal level. Anything that you can do to connect on a personal level moves the needle forward in the negotiation, because what they're doing is setting up a bonding situation between you and them. Last thing I want to remind you of is that the reason they haven't given you something that you've wanted, that you've asked for, is that they have an issue. You need to understand what their issue is as you go into this. And understand, well, we can't make you that offer. How come? What's the issue here? And you need to get them to tell you about it so that you can respond to that. Now, again, I use the word respond as opposed to react. Often people get stressed when they go into a negotiation. It's as though the entire negotiation is going to boil down to, I want it, you can't have it. But I need it, you can't have it. It's almost an infantile scenario, because you're not prepared to know what's going to make you walk away. And again, if you're out of work and you've been out of work for some length of time, I know it's hard to walk away, but you have to play the part. And again, if you can remember, always look at my video, the easiest way to negotiate a higher salary for yourself, because that gives you, I think, a pretty stressless way of doing a negotiation. But if you miss that window, just remember, you have to decide whether you're prepared to walk away. And if you aren't prepared to walk away, all you're trying to do is to get them to move the dial a little bit. So I'm Jeff Altman, the Big Game Hunter. If you'd like my help with a negotiation, I'd be happy to help you. Connect with me on LinkedIn at linkedin.com/IN/the Big Game Hunter. Once we're connected, message me. We'll set up a time to speak. And I do charge for this, obviously. And I'm not cheap, but I can help you, as I did with this person. I also want to mention that I do coaching throughout the entire job search process. So whether that's a resume or LinkedIn profile critique, I don't write resumes. I can refer you to a service that'll do a great job, but I critique resumes and LinkedIn profiles. Helping you with networking, helping you with your interviews, helping you with your negotiation, helping you with the resignation process so you do it in a good way. Reach out to me again through LinkedIn at linkedin.com/IN/the Big Game Hunter. And once we're connected, we'll schedule a time for a discovery call. Hope you have a great day. Take care.